All right, so we're going to be looking at example one. Example one asks, what is the graph of y equals 8 over x, where x does not equal 0? Well, we want to identify the x and y intercepts of the asymptotes of the graph. Also, we want to state the domain and range of the function. So it's asking us for quite a lot of information in this one problem, and we don't want to just stop as soon as we get the first piece, which is why I've put in 3 steps here. So step one, we want to make a table of the values that includes positive and negative values of x. If we go to our calculator, and we go to our y equals, clear that out, and we put 8 divided by x, go to our table, we can pull those values directly off of here. So notice that we've got 1 and 8 that we can definitely start with. So 1 and 8. We can also pull 2 and 4. We can pull 4 and 2. And if we look further down, we're going to see 8 and 1. Now, one thing I definitely want to caution you on here is that if you go to your graph, there's both a positive and a negative side on your graph. And from here on out, we want to include this negative value portion as well in our graph. So if we go to our table again, we don't just want the positive values, but we also want to go up to look at our negative values. Now, lucky for us, you're going to notice that these values are the same, they're just negative. So on our table, we can include our negative values, which would be -1 and -8, -2 and -4, -4 and -2, and -8 and -1. We don't need to really fill up the table. We just want enough information to give us a solid graph. So if we go to step 2 now, we can graph the points and connect the dots. So here, there's not enough room to fit 1, 8 on our table. But if we adjust our scale to 2 to 1, so for every block, we're going to have a value of 2 for each one, then we can easily fit it. So 1, 8 would be here, 2, 4, 4, 2, and 8, 1. Same in the negative. We end up with -1, -8, -2, -4, -4, -2, and -8, -1. Connecting our dots, we get a graph that looks like this. We want to do it on both sides. And we can include in our graph our vertical and our horizontal asymptotes. So our x-intercepts, where does our graph cross our x-intercepts? Well, our vertical asymptotes would tell us nowhere because our horizontal asymptote would tell us nowhere because our horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. So we have none. No x-intercepts, and same idea goes for your y-intercepts. So we're also going to have none there because we have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. Our domain would simply be all real numbers, except for where x cannot equal 0. And our range, very similar, all real numbers. Where y does not equal 0. That just says that we can have values all the way up to 0, but 0 can't actually be put in. You can see that up here. If we were to plug 0 in for our x value, we'd have 8 divided by 0, and we can't divide by 0. But we could divide by anything else. All right.